how do you know? Like, you just saw this profile. And I'm like, why don't you, if you're not very good at dating, go on many dates, you know, and get that practice so that you're ready to have an amazing date with somebody that you're really interested in. And just not wasting other people's time, go in there with the interest of creating a friendship. And so then if there's that, then you can have more friends, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to mention as well, I know we've got a lot
what
of
time. Is it?
Okay. It turns out we can talk about this stuff forever. This workshop I went to in Miami, it's kind of like they do a lot of connection stuff, but they do a lot of embodiment stuff as well for guys, and women are there too. Not as many women, but it was mesmerizing. Like he used to be a hypnotherapist. It's called Fearless, and their YouTube stuff is amazing. In fact, it's one of the most helpful things in the last few years for me. So yeah, one of the most powerful exercises, and I think everyone was confused of what we were trying to achieve, but it was again to just go say hi. But it wasn't saying hi. Okay, all the guys are not there to go say hi to all the beautiful girls in Miami. Some people were there to get better at how do I talk to girls, for sure. But it was about, go and say hi to anyone, like guys, girls. And the most interesting challenge was when you get that couple together and they're walking down the street and you have to say, hey, how's it going? Just get into their energy. And there's this like big guy that's just staring at you, and a lot of the times they won't respond to you. They think you're crazy, right? And we had to just walk down a shopping mall street, maybe 6 at night, just say hi to 20, 30 people and couples. And it was unbelievable. Like, what do you think happened? Like, some of these guys, they were in tears. They go off, they're around the corner, we regroup, and they're in tears. Like, Nina talked about vulnerability earlier, and it's unbelievable because what happened is, the exercise was all about the fastest way to bring up your vulnerabilities was to step into the discomfort. So saying hi. So there were about 3 or 4 guys in tears. Some of these guys looked super tough. And
they couldn't say hi, or they did say hi and it was hard?
A lot of them couldn't.
Couldn't say hi.
And it was super tense if you could. I saw guys, they were describing about this like super upper energy. Where you just like jump up into your body tenses up as you're trying to do it, rather than kind of be more grounded and breathe through it. So it was like such a simple exercises that we all do.
Yeah.
And it basically very quickly introduced your own vulnerabilities to actually work through.
Right here.
And so one of the things they really recommended you do is try something like that and then go and journal about what you're feeling in your body.
Yeah.
Like, was my throat tense? Was my chest tight? Was I sweating, or did my voice go all over the place, or whatever?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable what results you can get from that. And if you keep doing that regularly, you can actually very quickly improve. But sometimes it can bring up childhood things, of course, which is a whole other story. But
that's interesting. That makes me think, like, why do I keep blushing when I try to flirt? That happens every time when I flirt with you guys. This is like a easy environment. I'm teaching you guys, but I'm still getting flushed.
Well, yeah, we're on video, which is, sometimes just being on video of, we're trying to create courses right now, and suddenly you're on video to a bunch of people, and it's not the most comfortable thing when you first start doing it. So, this connection it goes everywhere in every day of your life, every hour of your life. We have to get better at this.
So Julie and Brent, I know Brent is in the room, so that's why he's not engaging, because it'll create an echo. But is there any other kind of questions that you have around connection that you'd like to discuss? We talked about some examples of connection and how to deepen the relationship. We talked about exercises like saying hi, waving. We talked about kinds of questions and the polarity of feminine and masculine energy.
So much. We talked about the levels of trying to see where each other's at, and raising levels and matching levels. That was really good for me.
Right. So is there we talked about talking to strangers. Is there any other kind of question that you guys may have? Brent, if you have it, just yell it over, and
we'll post.
We'll post
in the
it
chat.
on the chat. Yeah, that'd be great.
But
Yeah, and I'm just going to really quickly look at my talking points and see if there's anything else I want to share for sure as a technique.
I just wanted to add something quickly about online dating. So I tried Facebook dating for like a week.
Oh, yeah?
Problem is that number one, it's time consuming. I had probably 3,000 swipes or likes or whatever it's called in like a week.
Right.
I don't have time to take a look at 3,000 people. Okay. Yeah. And second thing is, there's some on there, they're literally like, there's no way, they're not my type whatsoever. So I was getting creeped out.
Yeah.
So what is the advice for online dating? How do you filter out like all those people, prevent them from sending you like swipes or likes? Like I've only tried Facebook dating. I haven't tried anything else. I don't want people to judge my exterior. I want people to see what's inside, right? Not the exterior first, which I don't know if that makes sense, but I want to find like a total package. So how do you, I don't know. So I honestly, and I'm not the only one, but I find that when you're, and you could probably relate, when you're beautiful, because you're absolutely beautiful outside and you're beautiful inside as well, because I know you, right? So how do you filter out just those people quickly and without it being time consuming? Like, I don't know. I've tried the online thing, and for me, it's just,
So, so I haven't had experience with Facebook dating, but I'm sure it's the same thing. And I do what Dave, I keep calling him Brent, what Dave said in the beginning to filter people out. So I will choose the one that I'm attracted to, and I will ask a question that, so he said, do you want to go on an adventure? So that question filtered out people who are scared, people who like are not adventurous. And so, I would find a question that has something to do with your values. And, you know, it could be as simple as, what was the latest act of kindness you did? And if they don't have one, if they, you know, are having a hard time responding to that, you know, I just don't spend time on those people. And I look for the ones that I'm attracted to, and then a question that will let me know if it will be good for me to put more energy in there. If they can't pass those questions, then I just don't spend any time. And I have no remorse of like, I don't feel like I have to swipe back or I have to respond to any messages. As women, I think that you get bombarded. I'm not sure, Edison, if you have that experience with online dating. Do you get 200 messages in 1 week or 2,000 messages? Right, so it's different for women. And so I think for women, you don't have to do that back. And then for men, what I would say is right in the first initial interaction. So I'm not sure if Facebook, if it's just swiping or if you can send a message. I would send a message that is very interesting, vulnerable about who you are, so that you know, stay away from the whole hi. I get many messages on Facebook that are just hi. And I'm just like, that does nothing I will not reply to that hi. Like, you have to come up with something that will make me want to engage at like, hi is such a safe word in a way. So you're not telling me anything about yourself, so that you're not being vulnerable. So that right away, it just self-selected him out, that person out. Does that make sense? Does that help, Julie?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. It's just because, there's too many like online dating. I don't know. And I'm assuming it's just because I'm a female. So it must be a thing that guys reach out more often. But I'm going to try those questions. Definitely very interesting.
Filter the people out by how they reply to the first question.
That's great.
But I don't reply to hi. Like, people that send me things in Messenger, number one, I don't have time. And number two, it's if you're not bringing something interesting, if you don't put the effort into tell me something about yourself or tell me something interesting, I do not respond to hi, hello, beautiful, gorgeous, pumpkin, like all those things. Like, I do not respond.
Yeah. And even like, what are you up to, or whatever questions about me, it's like, well, if you're approaching, you come with you, you know, and so use your vulnerability and come with you. And so if somebody says, like, this is what, actually I friended somebody on Facebook because they sent me a video message, and it was like, I'm in on London, blah, 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 and the person was sharing a really beautiful message. And I get a lot of friend requests, and I know that Facebook only allows 5,000, so I'm very picky about who I say yes to. But this person, I added him because it was a video message, and he put it in a comment, so it wasn't blocked out by the messenger. He put it in a comment, his video message, in one of the things that I was talking about. So of course I pressed, and I watched the whole thing because it was a really great message and it was kind, and I thought, well, this is a great person to get to know. If it was like, hey, what's up, I wouldn't have watched the whole thing, right? But this person was spreading a message of love and kindness and stuff, and I thought, yeah, I would like to hear more about you. And the next message I got from them, like that they posted on their Facebook, was them singing in the guitar, and it was a beautiful song. And so why I allowed that person is because how they engaged with me. They're the caliber of people that are being bold and brave, and then sharing the values that I share: love, kindness, compassion. And so then I allow that into my circle. So I don't say yes to every friend request. I don't respond to every voice message. So Edison, how does that work for you when you are dating online? So if you don't get bombarded by messages, how does it work? Do people approach you, or there's another Edison getting into there's two people. Okay.
1 minute, yeah.
Can you let my other one in?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Is that your alter? Is that your alter ego?
Try now. Yeah, there you go.
All right, cool. I'm back online. Whew, sorry, I couldn't hear you because my internet, something's up with it. So
No worries.
So, did you hear the question?
I did, but I forgot it. Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah. So how is online dating for you? Because for women, we get bombarded by messages, and so Julie's question was, how do you filter? And I say, ask a good question that is kind of vulnerable, bold, or makes the man step up, and then she will know right away if she can put any energy there or just move it on.
Yeah.
Men, you guys don't get bombarded by messages. So how is the experience for you? I mean, some men, I think Damien.
What are you talking about?
I'll be in it, Edison.
Edison too? Yeah, okay, so if you are the exception, can you help the people who do not have that experience?
I'm definitely not the exception. You know, but I do get, I get a number of messages, but I find, even like for myself, on my profile, I put down, I'm pretty, if you will, put it out there. These are my values. This is what I'm looking for. This is where I'm at. I'm pretty like, if this resonates with you, shoot me a message. Let's chat. And I find when I'm messaging a couple times, I want to get a little deeper and just get to know it quicker, right? I find a lot of the women, they don't engage that way. They don't share. And I'm like, okay, well, we're not getting very far, are we? And then it kind of dies off pretty quickly. Yeah. So, but I'm not like a woman where you get tons, right? I have a number every so often, but I just find the engagement's very disappointing because the women are not willing to share more vulnerably. And I already put out, even on my profile, I have lots of interests, right? So I put a couple, but I put my values straight up, very clear, right? Because I believe that's the most important part anyways, to connect with somebody on. It's just not about the interest. Your interest will change all the time.
Yeah. But
I find the women don't open up very easily. And, so I'm just like, okay, well, I'll try a few messages. I'll go back 4 or 5 times even. But if they don't go any deeper, it's
next.
I have to. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so do you do a lot of approaching? Like, do you send messages out?
The only one I've used is actually Bumble. And so the woman has to initiate.
Okay.
Once there's a match. Honestly, I'm not on the apps that much. Like pre-COVID, I never even was on it. I just met so many people every single day. Yeah. After doing that many engagements every day, you're bound to meet lots of amazing people, right? So on the dating app, I just find it can be frustrating. And so, I have to say I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm open to trying it.
Yeah. And so what I've told my clients about the dating app is that I would schedule a time where you do it every week, like half an hour on Sundays, and you actually initiate messages. So this is for the women. I say to them, initiate messages and send as much as you can, because it's a numbers game. So out of 10 messages or 20, like, you might actually want to further 2 or 1 or not even. So, but if you do it consistently and you go out there and you send out messages, you will get people that you want to interact. And not every woman has the experience of being bombarded by messages. So that's also the truth out there, that a lot of, there's people that don't, and so they need to be proactive and send messages too. And yeah, online dating, I find that it's a bit of a numbers game to see what, if you want to make that successful. And again, I don't waste my time, because I'm moving the relations that I want up to the next level. And if they don't move, then they fall off. So I can quickly send 10 messages, and if one moves up, great, but I send another 10 messages, and like, so I'm not worried about, I'm not keeping track of the 10 and making that the 10 work. No, I'm looking for the result and tweaking, and looking for the level of engagement and moving on, right? So like you said, Edison, like, you want people that are at your level of values and engagement, and if they're not, don't waste your time. But I think a lot of people try to make these things work. Like, why do you want to connect with people that are not connecting? Just move on. But they have this worry that if they're not connecting with 10 people that they messaged out, that it has something to do about them.
Yeah.
And so then they think, like, I'm not blah, blah, blah. And it's really not. I always say, like, if you squeeze an orange and you get orange juice, it's the orange juice is in the orange. And if you squeeze them and you get antisocialness, then it's not you. Right?
That's cool. Like that.
Yeah. So what happens when somebody squeezes you? What do you get, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what do you think about this conversation?
I think it's great. I feel like we could go for hours, but we shouldn't really.
Yeah. What do you guys feel?
Another time we can.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions that we can chat about?
I don't know if I have any questions, but I love everything that you're sharing, Nina. And so I missed the beginning. So I know you're a dance teacher.
Yeah. Well, thank you for asking, because I'm actually, so I have my background in dance, but I have been creating a coaching practice. And right now I'm working on a digital course on connection. And because it's a different arena, even though I can talk about this like that, this has given me more confidence actually to talking to you guys today, to validate that my information and my observations and what I use from dance into the dating world and relating is valuable to people. And so I'm creating an online course called Social Connection Secrets. And it's in the phase of putting it together. But a lot of the stuff I have to share in that course is what we talked about today, and how I move people through the levels of relationship and how I interact with others, and how I create more connection in my life with all kinds of relationships. So thank you guys for coming, because you have given me confidence that, okay, what I'm saying is valuable to others. So that's where I'm at, dance school, and pivoting to coaching and course, online digital course out there.
Awesome, love it.
Instagram is brand new. It has like 50 followers. So I'm trying to rebrand my Instagram.
Almost as many as mine. It's not brand new.
Oh, I love it. I think you have a lot of valuable things to share, and I think one of the most valuable things that I can really ever get is just a different perspective. And so I love hearing your perspective through all your experiences, and also, you know, being a woman, right? It's definitely completely different than my perspective and my experiences. So, even like when I reach out and, you know, message people, I find barely get any responses, right? And so it's like, okay, so what's the use? You kind of get that way sometimes. And so that's why I guess I typically lean more towards just, you know what, let's just live life. Because if I'm living life and I want someone who's living life, I'm going to meet someone who's living life as I live my life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my philosophy. So.
I would be curious, Edison. I want you to send me a message that you would send an approach. And I want to see if there's anything I could help or add or change to see if we can create more success. Not that you need it, but I'm really curious. If you send a message and you don't get a response, definitely let's look at that. I get messages from my friends all the time saying like, this is what I want to say to this person. Should I send this? Or this is what I want to say to my ex. Is this going to create a fight? And it's really interesting. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, take this out, take that out. Like, was it, oh, it was Kevin. Yeah. People send me emails. They're like, is this a good email? And I rewrite it a little bit. And sometimes they're like, oh, somebody said to me, there's this movie, The Green Book, and then somebody else was writing the love letters for the wife. And they were like, you're like that guy. But it was funny because we don't see what we're saying sometimes when we're writing it, and how we could maybe sometimes fall into that would turn somebody off, or that is a little bit, why don't you say it this way, or use the word we. Like, I've been testing this one out. Instead of saying, how are you today? I say, how are we today? How are we today?
Wow, that's really
cool.
It's
hard. I was like, this sounds so weird. It's much more inclusive. And it talks about like what you're feeling, I'm going to feel, or I can feel with you. So if you're happy, I'll be happy. But if you're sad, why? I'm going to feel sad too. What's going on for you? Yeah. And so the question is, how are we today? And in some societies, that's actually how they talk. In more collective societies and more individualistic societies, we say, how are you today? How am I? Right? We use I am well. And but I think that's
really
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll try that. I'm going to try that.
Same. I'm totally open to playing and playing with that.
Awesome. Love it.
There was one thing. I need a diagram of this. I'm going to try and find a picture of it. It is in a video, but I went to this powerful youth thing in Salt Lake City, and they played on the big screen this interaction between a girl, I think I may have told you this before, a girl that walks into a coffee shop every single day, and she was really attracted to the guy that worked behind the counter. But what they did is project everything that was going on in her brain, like all of her thoughts going on, like a stressful day at work, and just like she hadn't been eating well, so she was worried about this. So there was a worry, like this network of thoughts popping up over each of their brains. So you could see his network of thoughts and her network of thoughts. And it was amazing to see, like, they walk in and they interact with each other. And of course, she looks really like having the worst day ever. And she's closed off. She's not smiling, like you're saying. And he really liked her. And it's showing, like, why doesn't she like me? Like, she's not responding to me in his network of thoughts. So no one's using the actual words to actually tell each other what they're thinking. And they both really like each other. And they're both battling each other. And it's really interesting also to think of, like, if you chat to someone that you like and you don't get a good vibe back from them, like they don't know anything about you if it's a stranger, right? And it doesn't mean it's ever about you because they don't know anything about you, but it could still be about your energy and your vibe on how you're showing up. But it's nothing about you as a person. So you never have to come away feeling rejected if you speak to like 20 people and you don't get any responses. Like, it's not about you. It may be about a little bit of the energy or the messaging even. But yeah, it's always nice to have that security to know it's not about you. Like, it's never an attack on your personality or your knowledge or who you are, because these people don't know you. So, but the energy is important for sure.
Yeah. Right.
I just wanted to add something. So I love the perspective and everything you've taught us. It was super, like, it was really good. I'm the type of person when dating, I don't want you to tell me who you are. I want you to show me who you are. So let's go do something so I can observe and see, right? And I don't like going to the restaurant or just going to the coffee shop. No, let's go do an activity. And I'm a big observer, attention to detail, and I observe how the other person is with nature, with the birds, with anything. Like if you're outside or with people passing by, opening up the door for someone else, how they interact, how they speak. Like if you go to a coffee shop and you grab coffee and then you leave with the coffee, well, was he rude or was he like super pleasant with the person at the counter, right? So I'm all about that. I'm really big on that. Like, don't tell me who you are. Don't tell me what you do. Show me. Like, I really want to see. So it's a great perspective. I love it.
That's a great point. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
On that, so there was a experience I had. So it's this girl I met on Facebook. She added me, her sister was friends with me on Facebook. So I'm like, oh, okay, sure, fine, whatever, right? Chat a couple times. She's from Vietnam. She comes over, visits her sister. And so, yeah, when you come over, I can take you out and show you around the city if your sister's busy, right? Just let me know. Just being friendly, right? And so she actually did come over. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, and she messaged me. I'm like, okay, sure. I took her out just to see the sights, right? Like a tour guide's basically it, right? It wasn't like a date or anything, but similar to what Julie said, she got to know me through my actions. However, sorry, I dropped something. However, I didn't know anything about her. She was very closed off. I was just, so, what do you do for work back in Vietnam? And she couldn't even give me a straight answer. And then at the end of the couple of days, she told me that, she's attracted to me, just how I am, blah, blah, and all that. Okay, cool. I'm like, thank you for sharing. But to be honest, I don't really know anything about you. So I don't know if I can say anything or reciprocate.
Yeah.
And then I give her an example. I say, well, as an example, I asked you, well, just what's your job? I think it's just a simple question, but you didn't even share that with me. And she's like, and then, oh yeah, I can answer that. Oh yeah, of course you can, but why didn't you when I originally asked you? I wasn't trying to pry. I think it's just, that's how people get to know each other at the beginning as well, right? Especially if you don't have a chance to get together. Hey, I'm similar to Julie. Your actions will tell me exactly who you are.
Yeah.
However, I'd like to get to know who you think you are as well beforehand, so that I have an idea. Is there even a possibility of us connecting?
Mm-hmm.
So just off of what Julie just shared. So yeah.
And people have, sometimes they may not know how to share, so they get nervous. They can't. This is what I was saying, that practice is so important, so that when you do meet the guy that you're attracted to, you can formulate a thought and have it come out of the mouth. Like, she might have been going through what do I do? Yeah, what do I do? Oh my God. And she might be nervous because she's so attracted to you and not be able to get the words out of her mouth. I don't know. Have you ever been tongue twisted I have had, when I come up to somebody that I am really attracted to, I get all red, first of all. So I'm already being sold out by my body. And then I can't talk. And so I say the stupidest things. Yeah. And so I have had to practice that by talking. And it's interesting, if I knew that person, or if I would say, okay, this is what we need to do for her. She needs to practice. She needs to talk to many, 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 many guys, because sometimes they can talk to girls. The people can talk to girls, but they can't talk to a guy. Then they can't talk to a guy that they like. So that there's something constricted, or they feel nervous, and so then they don't want to say something stupid, so they'd rather be quiet. And then now, after I'm surprised she was able to share that she's attracted to you. Maybe she reached the level of knowing that you're a safe person, a nice guy and safe. And so now she can talk. And yeah, I'm glad you were honest with her. That could have been the opportunity to, she can now be herself. Sometimes a lot of women have have fears about safety. Not safety of, am I going to get hurt? They just don't feel safe enough to share their life, even a simple question. And it is interesting, we have to find out, what is it that this person needs to be comfortable? And so is it walking around? Is it going to sit down? Is it doing an activity where we watch a movie or something, that sometimes that is going to help them relax, depending on the activity. Perhaps the sightseeing was a lot of time together, and it's just how are we going to fill this time? And she might have been nervous. Who knows? But the point I'm saying is that sometimes we need to learn how to make others relax and comfortable. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. Yeah.
So I would try different kinds of dates to see where does this person thrive, so that we can actually connect. Yeah.
Because I was thinking the same thing of we talked earlier about kind of the guy can practice skills in a certain area as well. If we're the masculine, we're initiating, we can even take it to a level of, how can I create this bubble so that the other person feels comfortable to open up and share, right? So it may be this immediate awkwardness between you, which might only be for a minute or 45 seconds or so, but just through like breathing and eye contact and not like avoiding each other, not closing up with your body and everything, then you're creating this more like comfortable atmosphere between the two of you. And then now you can progress to the next level, right, of opening up. And it's so important that we understand how that we can take responsibility for that.
Oh yeah, and again, sometimes like a dance class might be a place where they feel like, okay, I don't have to talk and I can be, and then they feel more relaxed. But sometimes that dance class is too confronting, right, for some people. And sometimes group environment is better for a date than a single time alone. Like sometimes I have brought my son to my first dates. And just to, you know, some people are like, what? That's crazy. I'm like, well, I just wanted to see if this person can handle being around kids. And also like, and so, and it was amazing. Sometimes I'm like, great. And sometimes I'm like, no, not so good. But my son didn't quite enjoy him or like him, and I didn't quite enjoy that either. And it was a really big eye-opening thing. And sometimes people say, like, don't let the kids meet until, like, you know for sure. And I'm just like, that's the worst idea. But why if my kid doesn't like him after, like 6 months of dating? You know, I a little bit counterculture at times about that. But I think, like, let's meet them as people. I don't say, this is my future blah, blah. I say, this is so-and-so. We're going to go for a hike, or we're going to go grocery shopping. You know, and it has been good to see them in different situations. Is that helpful?
So good.
Is that helpful at all, or does that make any sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah.
Well, we should wrap up. Super fireside chat.
Yeah.
I love it.
So thank you guys for giving me so much like valuable insights and examples and things, because like I was able to, this is like think, oh, this is how I would approach that situation, and that's super valuable to, again, create the confidence that I need to move forward into this new arena.
Well, you're so good in this space.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this
Nina, you're a superstar. Keep it up. High five.
High five.
Come on now. Come on.
Yeah,
this was so good. Thank you so much. It was so good. You're amazing in Q&As, answering questions. And also the two of you together, the combination as hosts, I love it because I love the way that you interact with each other. So one person will say something, and then the other person's actually listening. So, and this is really good because in my coaching, I teach people to do that all the time, right? You're not listening to answer back. You're truly tuning in and listening. So, Nina, when you were talking about listening skills a while ago, well, we know that you're teaching it, but you've mastered the listening skills. Both of you were talking about the listening skills, but both of you have mastered it because you're doing it. When the other person's talking, you're not thinking, you're not super far away thinking, well, I have already something that I want to say. No, you're listening in, and then later you just add something else. So it's amazing to see the two of you host. Yeah, it's so great. I loved it.
Appreciate it.
I'm so glad you said that, Julie. I'm going to send that clip to my boyfriend whenever I interrupt him. People say I'm a master.
Yeah, I'll echo Julie's sentiment. So yeah, great job, Dave, and thanks for putting all this together.
Oh, it was such a great conversation today. I love that so much. Yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite topics ever. I could go for hours and hours and hours on this. Sorry, Edison made a great little comment. I want to highlight that, or a great quote or something about like other people's perspectives, like trying to get other people's perspectives on something. And you gave me a book, which is Tribe of Mentors.
Tribe of Mentors.
And that is the big quote in there about seeing the same land through 1,000 different pairs of eyes, which is Marcel Proust.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Yes. So Nina gave me that book, and ever since I read that quote, it really opened my eyes. Like, seeing everyone's different perspectives on the same things is so powerful. So yeah, of course.